Welcome back. We are now going to take on one of the what I would like to call the reference robot masters, because Cloudman here's stage looks awfully familiar to a certain other air kind of man, to put it bluntly. And I like Cloudman's stage theme. And you'll see, yeah, these things, don't they look kind of familiar to something? With the little things coming out at the bottom of the screen or what? You know, it's I mean, the fans look pretty familiar to a certain robot master that's been fought in 2, but you know, I'm just gonna you know what stuff I'm just gonna outright say it seems to me like a reference to Airman stage from Megaman 2, which summer every time, I can't beat Airman. Anyway, the clouds here actually hiding the fact that the platform goes to about there. Come on, Rush, stop being a pain and just let me. A neat thing that I like that many people know about, but it's actually quite fun. What you do is you whip out your freeze cracker, which you won't need for any of the robot masters, not until later. And how the hell did I hit both of those at the same time? That was quite stylish, I'll admit. You know that? Where did that other robot go? Did it just get off-screened? I thought that was on in the NES one, NES games, not the Super Nintendo one. Anyway, Cloudman's stage actually does hold a little secret besides the rush, one of the rush plates. I'm not spoiling what it is because you'll have to see yourself. Oh, look at that! It's another reference to Airman stage. They obviously don't have the guys who rode on the clouds. Yeah, but I mean, it makes you think. What if Capcom did what other companies did for certain games on the Super Nintendo, like, and to a certain extent the Game Boy Advance, that they did it. How like Final Fantasy, the first Final Fantasies, 1 and 2 got a redone version on the Super Nintendo, like, with all the Super Nintendo graphics, and the same thing. You can say the same thing about Mother 1 and 2 in the Game Boy Advance. They did the same thing, like they used the same kind of. Anyway, sorry about that. Just had to fix a little thing. Anyway, we need to get up to that ladder there, but we can't get it from this side, as I found out. Anyway, those birds are obviously from Megaman 2, the ones that they should shut out all the birds. Anyway, we get a free man for going up here, which is nice. If it wasn't for that enemy, I would have been straight down the hole. And those birds are actually quite an easy farm for bolts, notice. We get the U part. Now all we need is the S to spell rush. Now we're gonna get a rush when we get the super armor. Anyway, Megaman's jump is actually a little bit gimp compared to the NES ones, but the platforming does make up for this, and how you know how it works. Yeah, another free man. Oh, this game's too kind. It's not as kind as This megaman 5 can be with the item pickups, but it's still quite kind. Anyway, those enemies there, actually, the weak point is the head, but you can hit them in both places, the head or the body. But with the body, the head actually comes off as you seen earlier. And who is this familiar? Who's familiar whistle is this? It's been a while, Mega Man. I don't know why I sound like some black person. No, it's too racist, I shouldn't say. I don't know why I sound like a deep voice person. Oh yeah. Anyway, he's hinting at a certain stage that's coming up a little later. Not in this part, I think next part? Maybe? If I remember correctly. So the next part of the part after. No, it's next part because if you destroy the egg, you destroy the whole thing. And this is actually quite different, you know, compared to how they usually look. Nice lightning effect as well on it. This is Cloudman. Cloudman is easy because all you need to do, well, when I'm not screwing up the pattern, all you have to do is just about now. Yeah, about now then. You get to hear the little master boss music a little bit now. Don't know why I'm paused, I should have. Oh, see. I do love that the Cloudman's head actually falls off as he's falling down. Oh, when he falls then you see the head. That was lucky, that. But anyway, he does have a whole pattern to himself, but usually it's easy when you've got his weakness because they don't do any of those patterns. I'm sure Mega Man X brought that in where the bosses will start reset the pattern. Probably more at Mega Man X even. The Thunderbolt fires at the electricity charge spheres, right, Doctor? Yes, and it can also be used to power some electronic machines around the Mega Man. You okay? Sorry, I'm tired. Thunderbolt. There's the pattern if you want to go from where I was. Next and last but not least we have. Well, first we have the shop. The Giant Eddie. That's its official name, Giant Eddie. And we get a little, because this is the first time going to it, we get a little explanation by Otto. Welcome, Mega Man, I'm glad you're back. Select the item you want made. Well, it does. Anyway, you can get energy tanks, weapon tank, the exit beat, which we'll get into a little bit later. Next we have Junk Man. Not that kind of junk. As in stuff that's been thrown away. And look at that, Famicons. I'm surprised they didn't change for the international release. They didn't change it to you know an NES, like the Nintendo Entertainment System. I'm surprised they didn't do it here for the international version. Oh well, that would take time and effort on Capcom's part. Anyway, Game Boy. You can dig up a Game Boy, which is a neat reference. I think that's only in the Super Nintendo version of Mega Man 7, and maybe the GameCube version of Mega Man 7 for the Anniversary Collection. Anyway, those giant bolts are... Sorry, I'm yawning a lot. Those bolts are actually... Those big bolts are actually... Oh, screw you! Those bolts are actually used there. Those big bolts are actually... Is it worth like 5 or something? Because, you know, it's like either 5 or 2 they're worth. Compared to the smaller boats, which are like worth either worth 1 or 2. It just, I don't know. Well, I probably do know. I just never really thought about it. I like that there's cockroaches. If you can get it when they fall down, they make the face of like, what did I just hit? Metals that have no feet, but instead have cannons on the bottom of their feet to shoot pellets at you. Basically lost that health that I just got there. Anyway, to get all the stuff out of this level, you do need to die. You know, obviously if you're going for a no death run, you can't get all of them. You'll have to go through the stage again. But if you're not doing a no death run like myself, which is just playing through the game generally, because I felt like it, and it's a good way to get myself back into recording again. Now we have Rush. So now once we got what is the S adapter. This is the Super adapter, or the Super Armor adapter. With this, instead of charging up a Mega Buster shot, you instead charge up your hand, which then blasts off to hit enemies. It actually does home in on enemies within a certain range for now. But you'll see what I mean when I like that. It homes in on them and destroys them. It is very similar to the Mega Arm from Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy, or Mega Man V. Because in that instead of having the Mega Buster, well, you didn't have the Mega Buster at the start. You had the Mega Arm to destroy the Star Droids. Even though the Mega Buster does work on the Star Droids eventually. From that perspective, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, because we don't have the reach to attack this guy, anyway, can't hit him. Another thing about the Super Adapter is that it can't slide because it's the explanation is that it's too heavy. And look at this, the Famicoms and the. Oh, well, that was a way to die. Super Adapter go. I love this. I love using the Super Adapter in this. It's a mix of the power adapter and the power adapter, the jetpack adapter from Mega Man 6. But instead, just in one package instead of 2, which is nice. Yeah. But anyway, we need to use Thunderbolt on this, so we can get our. So we can get our next Rush upgrade, which if you couldn't guess from which one we're missing from that we usually get in the games. I'll just wait till we get it to tell you the actual name because it's spoiling it. we get, this is actually Rush Jet. But a really funny thing that I've seen is in the shops lately was like when those shops always get the second-hand stuff in, you know, that nobody would really buy, but what they had in was something from 2000, and it was for those who remember Digimon, the first season, you know, Agumon and all this. Well, there was a costume for a kid's costume of Agumon. Which all I could think of is all I could think of when I seen that was that is really old. That probably would have been something that I seen when I was younger. Seen that from that exact same shop. I got the figure of it was the main character of Digimon Season 2's. His his fully Digivolved partner. I can't remember what the name was, but it looked quite cool. The funny thing was that was when Digimon Season 2 was still being aired on Jetix. But anyway, back to the game. Junkman. His weakness is Thunderbolt. If you want to avoid getting hit by him, don't do what I'm doing. You're supposed to slide underneath them. And there he's down. And we get Junkman's supposed weapon. I've never actually seen him use the damn thing in the boss battle, but well. I've seen his devastating attack, but that's it. A junk shield will protect the user with rotating spheres, right, Doctor? Yes, but this normally absorbs so much damage before they destroy my. So we get the shield weapon of this game, junk shield, which is actually quite useful. Not for the stages, but for the bosses, because it does. So you can keep. Basically, you can keep about 2 shields going at the same time. That's how it works. That's how it absorbs damage. Welcome home, megaman. Doctor, what do you think of bass? Or bass? Whatever the hell it is. His actions don't seem to manipulate any threat. I don't believe he's our enemy. What's this? The one. Why are they attacking the robot museum? They have a robot museum filled with robot masters. How you know, those things were dangerous in the past because of certain things that they did.